Almost a month ago now, we were celebrating our church's 150th anniversary in the parking lot and online through live streaming. Just let that soak in for a minute. How unusual that experience was. To be gathering in our parking lot in our cars and doing live worship with the bishop, to being in our homes and watching worship online through live streaming. But the most significant, unusual part of that service and that day was 150 years of ministry. I just want to remind us how unique that is for United Methodist Church in our country, and how exceptional it is because it reminds us of a history and a legacy and a faith community that has sustained ministry through 150 years. Just think of all the life experiences, all the national experiences, all the world experiences that have happened in 150 years. We can't begin to imagine what the next 150 years hold. And we know that this beginning year of the next 150 years has been quite a doozy. But what we do know is that we want to be found as faithful as those generations who've come before us, as faithful as the tenacity and resilience and generosity that they shared to make sure that a church was here for us to gather and grow up our kids and grow up future generations and make ministry happen to our world, to our region, and to our neighborhoods. So we want to invite you to join us again on being a part of our 150 and more Stewardship Campaign celebration and gift dedication that will be happening on Sunday, November 1st, here at Arvada United Methodist Church. You have already received probably a couple already gift dedication cards, or pledge cards we call them in our church, where we can each as a household or as individuals make a commitment to fund the ministries of our church in 2021. This is the next step we take in making sure that there's 150 and more years of ministry for Arvada United Methodist Church. On Sunday, November 1st, we invite you, if you would like, to come to the church building anytime between 8 a.m. and 12 noon, where you can pray and dedicate the giving and the generosity and the faithfulness of you and your household for 2021. I imagine, being the Sunday before Election Day, you might also want to be offering prayers for our nation and for our world and for the decisions and actions that will result out of our election as a nation. Spend some time in prayer doing that. Spend some time in prayer being socially distanced and masked as we come into the space, just praying for all the concerns and the heaviness that we're carrying in these COVID days. You might also have a great celebration or joy as well. And then, of course, if you want to remain at home and remain socially distanced and careful and safe that way, you can also send your pledge card to the church by good old snail mail. You can also go online to our church's website, arvadaumc.org, and click on the pledge card prompts to be able to make your pledge commitment for 2021 electronically. However you feel called to make that gift, I want to say as your lead pastor, thank you. Thank you for sustaining the ministries of the church through this most difficult and challenging of year in 2020. And thank you in advance for the ways that we will sustain the giving and the operations and the ministry and mission and worship and service of our congregation in 2021. We also invite you to go to our stewardship page, 150 and more, on our website, where you can watch a town hall video that explains more about the financial needs of the church in 2021. We will be having a flat budget from the 2020 budget that we are asking for in 2021, recognizing some of the costs that have been lowered because we don't anticipate being in our building at least through the first half of 2021 and not being at full operations in our building until that time, but also because we also have some special elevated expenses now of online worship and other ways that we are connecting in these COVID days. So if you'd like more details about that, be sure to go to www.arvadaumc.com/150 and more, and you can link onto that town hall video and learn more of the details as we remain transparent and trustworthy and good communicators about the financial health of our congregation. Thank you in advance for prayerfully considering your pledge commitment for 2021, and we hope that you'll join us either virtually or in person here in the sanctuary or out in the parking lot to make our gift dedications on Sunday, November 1st. Thank you again, and God bless you.
Hi, I'm John. I began my Methodism as a 2 or 3 year old in a one-room country church back in Iowa.
I think we're especially happy to be giving to AUMC. We've been here, we've lived in Arvada for 20 years, but during that year we visited churches because we grew up Presbyterian, and we visited a lot of churches, and we were impressed with the music here at AUMC. And soon after that, a year later, we joined the church, and we were already part of the choir and enjoying it very much. And it was a little different trying to figure out what Methodists did as compared to Presbyterians, and we found out that they were very similar, and we were happy. And we're still trying to kind of get in the mode of Methodism, and we've really enjoyed this church. A year after we moved here in 2000, and in 2001 we joined this church, and for various reasons, and have really enjoyed it ever since and plan to stay here a long time. At first, I guess I will say that we enjoyed being in the choir, and then soon after that being in the Good Morning Choir, and then involved with children's choir, and I guess it just didn't quit for a long time, our interest in the music, and it never will. Our first Sunday here in the congregation, Pam Cogswell, who has moved, of course, now, I was standing next to her, and for some reason she and Larry were not singing that Sunday, and Pam said to me, introduced herself and asked why didn't we just join the choir? And we thought about that less than a week, and the next week we were in the choir, and since then we've done various and sundry music things, and just really enjoyed being a part of this church. Of course, we have been givers to the churches that we've belonged to, which have only been 3, but we consider that a very important part of our church life. And with every year we've lived here and enjoyed AUMC, we have just never regretted, what we give to the church, and I would encourage everyone to continue that, because especially right now with the COVID, we think it's very, very important. And so there you have a little bit of our history, and I really enjoy seeing the financial things in our newsletter, and think that we're doing a pretty good job in the fact that we're not meeting together, but yet keeping the church going and going well.
We have really enjoyed the music opportunity to be a steward to the congregation in the field of music. We really appreciate the support that the church gives to the Jeffco Community Band and the special ensembles during the special seasons. When we first came here, we were blessed with services of Chuck Schuster as our pastor. We really enjoyed him, and he was an inspiration for us to continue to attend the services. It is very important to consider when we are giving to the church financially that departments such as the music department do get the support they deserve, as we feel as musicians, of course. It takes a good deal of support to provide the music and the personnel to carry out the fine music program that we have here.
I just can't tell you how much I and John and the whole many people in the church appreciate the music staff. I don't know of any musician I've ever met that gives more of his time than Tim does. I've worked with him for several years, and well, I've just not seen anything quite as impressive as what Tim does.
We're especially appreciative of the support that the church gives to activities such as the KDD department. We became involved indirectly with our grandchildren from the first few years that we were here, and we found it to be an extremely valuable program for our community. The financial support that we give to these different activities, a lot of times we don't really think about, but they are extremely important. We'd be amazed at how many different programs are continually going on at the church that aren't really considered maybe to be the religious part, but on the other hand, they are community service, and they give a great support to the community. I think one of the major investments that were made that some may or may not have, we weren't here at the time, but the investment of the center may have appeared to be a little extravagant at the time, but what it is used for is unbelievable. The example that I have in mind is the Jeffco Band. It's an extremely valuable outreach for the community to allow musicians of all ages and talents to get together and serve, and this is a kind of a psychological, I guess you'd say, stewardship activity that many of us really enjoy.
I also thought of the fact that this will be aired very soon before our Stewardship Sunday, November 1st, and we would wholeheartedly ask you to keep giving to AUMC. We love this church. We are continuing our pledge, and I hope that all of you will, because it's well worth it.